Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by other historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, historical calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you are you, viewer. Today is, of course, Moon's Day, aka Monday, June 19th, 2023. We're going to start us off in history here. In the year 936, we have Louis IV, or Louis of Overseas, was crowned King of France. Alright?
Overseas?
Well, yeah, I guess over the sea.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get that. Okay, yeah.
I mean, from the English perspective,
yeah.
I guess. Like, that is a weird name, so... but then 1205, Pope Innocent III fired Adolf I as Archbishop of Cologne. And that was a little interesting because, you know, the Pope Innocent firing some guy named Adolf.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's...
Boy, one person changed that name forever.
Oh, yeah.
Many years later, hundreds of years later.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like 700 some odd years later.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Bill Burr did a whole bit about, like, the Hitler family name.
Oh, really?
You know? Like, it's really funny. Like, because, like, there's nobody going around with that last name anymore.
No.
You know?
No.
Which is kind of interesting because, like, the inventor of fascism, and I've said this on the show before many times, Benito Mussolini, his granddaughter,
yes,
still has his last name, Mussolini,
yeah,
and is in the Italian government.
Yes.
What?
But she is nowhere politically near what her.
Well, no, but still, like
yeah.
you'd think that the name of the inventor of one of the worst political structures in all of history, you'd think that would be enough to wipe out a name.
Yeah.
It got rid of Hitler.
Yeah.
But it didn't touch Mussolini. What the hell? So.
I wonder if there's any Himmlers around.
I don't know. That's another question.
Yeah.
So.
That's a nasty name too.
Yeah, it is. And so is, Zedong, Pot,
Yeah, Pol Pot.
Yep. So, anyway, let's move on up here. We have 1269. King Louis IX of France decreed all Jews must wear a yellow badge in public or be fined 10 livres of silver. Well, that sounds really familiar and kind of coincides with what we were just talking about. Yikes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What else do we got? 1464, French King Louis XI formed Postal Service. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. 1586, and this is going to be important because not just the postal service. I think this is also the anniversary of the invention of the modern police force when the British bobbies were created. So we're going to be getting into that here in not too long, actually.
Just to go back to, I'm kind of reversing back to the yellow star for Jews.
Well, it wasn't a yellow star; it was just a yellow armband or a yellow badge, so
okay,
just
badge.
marking them.
I think they went to a star later or something. I think.
Well, no, that's the Nazis.
Yeah.
This is 1269. This is
French.
of course. No, this is like hundreds of years before.
I'm still on Hitler. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did do something like this, mark them. That's why I said it's very familiar.
Yeah.
Yikes. Anyway, 1586, English colonists sailed from Roanoke Island, North Carolina, and anybody knows history knows about Roanoke. The entire colony just vanished without a trace.
I've heard the name Roanoke.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that was what's behind knowing the name.
Yeah, well, that's because it's still a mystery to this day. Nobody knows what happened. Because there was meals left out. There was property still there. It's like everybody just vanished. And the most common accepted theory is that they just dropped everything and went and joined the Native Americans.
Okay.
But I mean,
what would make you instantly stop as an entire colony your daily life and go?
Exactly. That's why it's still a mystery.
Yeah.
That's the commonly accepted theory, but it's still a theory.
Yeah.
Anyway, 1603, Murga Bean arrested for witchcraft in Fulda, Germany, part of the Fulda witch trials. She and about 250 people were later burned at the stake. Yikes. And we're actually going to be talking about somebody else in a more recent history. Actually, this was, I think, in 2019. We're going to get to that eventually. Someone in Saudi Arabia was decapitated for wizardry or something. sorcery. We'll get to that. 1610, Samuel de Champlain and his French army defeated the Mohawk people at the Battle of Sorel in New France, present-day Sorel, Tracy, Quebec. All right.
Champlain.
Yep. 1754, Albany Congress held by 7 British colonies and Iroquois Indians. All right. The Albany, that's New York.
Yeah.
So.
No, northern New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
Upstate New York. Is what I was trying to say. Yeah.
That's interesting. They had the natives then, which makes sense because they're the natives. So. 1770, the Swedish theologian and philosopher Emanuel Swedenborg reported the completion of the Second Coming of Christ in his work True Christian Religion, and that didn't happen. Yes.
What are you talking about? I'm here. No, huh? Not buying it?
1778, George Washington's Continental Army troops finally left Valley Forge, their winter encampment. Yeah.
Well, you see, the reason why I think I'm him is because every time I walked in the room when I was a kid, my dad went, "Jesus Christ!"
Hey, that's my joke. I
You
took
stole
it.
that from me originally.
I did.
I told that before you were born.
I know. But see, like father, like son. Actually, I just realized.
What's that?
Father, Son, Mom's the Holy Ghost. Whoa.
There you go.
We are the trilogy. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1790, during the French Revolution, the National Assembly issued a decree abolishing the titles, orders, and other privileges of the French nobility. Yep. Yeah, off with their heads.
They don't like that losing privileges.
Yeah, well, like the Revolution, they took over all the bourgeois and all those stuff. So. Here we go. 1890, the HMS Kite chased the steamship SS Savannah in its historic voyage across the Atlantic for 3 hours off the coast of Ireland, believing it to be on fire. Unable to catch the steamship, HMS Kite fired warning shots, forcing it to stop and be inspected to the amazement of the British. So, it was a steamship. The steam was coming out. They thought it was on fire. They didn't even know what a steamship was.
Yeah.
So, they literally fired upon it, like, hey, stop. Let us help you. Like, we're not on fire. That's just new technology. What? What is this steamship? What is this wizardry?
Not smoke?
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
So, that reminds me when they were testing the first jet airplanes in the U.S. Air Force, like, cutting edge, brand new technology, like in the late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
Like, the populace as a whole still didn't know about jet technology. Like, so, the pilot actually got a good idea because, like, when he's up there testing the things, other pilots are going to see him. He's up in the air,
Yeah.
So he actually got a gorilla suit and a couple other accessories or something. So whenever the pilot said, "Yeah, I saw a gorilla flying a propellerless aircraft," he literally gaslit the entire aviation industry to keep it secret.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah. So. Anyway, moving on up to 1829, Robert Peel introduced the Metropolitan Police Act 1829 into Parliament to establish a unified police force for London, the city's first modern police force, and the world's. So, we can thank the British for the invention of police. For better or worse. So, also in 1835, New Orleans gave U.S. government Jackson Square to be used as a mint.
Not like mint you eat.
No, like
You bought it. I love it when you just give me a serious answer. No, what were you going to say? It's not what?
It's a mint for making money.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Why am I feeding the troll? 1846, we have the first officially recognized basketball or baseball game played by Cartwright rules. New York Nines 23 defeated Knickerbockers 1 at Hoboken, New Jersey. Hoboken. Huh.
Hoboken.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what those rules. What was it against? Cartwright rules.
Cartwright
Never heard of that.
rules.
Before my time.
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
Not by far, though.
Oh, thanks. 100 years.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Huh. Interesting. What is the Cartwright rule? Aside from being declared as the father of modern baseball, so set bases 90 feet apart, establish 9 innings as game, and 9 players as team. So
it's kind of like what we have. We have the car right rules today.
yeah, well, that's the only rules of the whole thing. Like it consisted of. It says the plaque lists three rules of the game attributed to Cartwright.
Okay. Oh,
so
okay.
that was it.
Those are what he contributed, and then they built after that.
Yes. So.
Okay.
But we also have in 1861, Anaheim Post Office was established. Hey, that's not that far.
No.
And then 1862, slavery was outlawed in U.S. territories. And why is that not highlighted?
Yeah.
You know, that's big. It's just like, oh yeah, by the way, this happened. Like, it's not a toss to the side fact. That's a major historical event.
I'll bet you anything, and I could look it up, but it's probably not worth it. That was a hell of a fight. I bet you it didn't just breeze through Congress.
Oh no! There was a war raging for like literally decades before the actual violence happened, because the majority of our states, I believe I've talked to you with you about this, the majority of our states were created just to get a one-up or balance out in the House of Representatives for laws being passed. California, Wisconsin, Nevada, the majority of states, a good 30 states were created just for that, so they can have a political battle,
so they can add population.
Yeah, so because how in voting and such, the
houses of the people, so that's does by population.
Yes. Yeah. So they're doing that political trickery.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, moving on up here, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger declared slaves are free in Texas. This is now the date the end of slavery is celebrated across the U.S. as Juneteenth. But how come Texas is the post, for it?
That's what it's supposed to stand for, but it has a double meaning, I think.
Yeah, well, in today's world, everything's just really gone out the window.
They try to throw the 16th, 19th project in there and all kinds of stuff.
God. 1867, we had the first Belmont Stakes. Gilbert Gilpatrick aboard Ruthless won in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. All right. Finally, in 1900, Republican Party nominated President William McKinley for re-election, but chose a new candidate for Vice President, Theodore Roosevelt. Yeah.
I wonder if Biden will do that. Doesn't sound like he will.
Actually, when this country first founded, when they were figuring out how to handle presidents, vice presidents, all that stuff, they didn't actually have running mates initially. I'm not sure if you told me this or if I just figured.
I don't know if I told you that or not.
But no, they initially just had you're running for president. That's it, and obviously whoever won became president, but whoever lost became vice president.
Ah.
So.
And then they're gonna. I wonder, did that go into effect or did they?
Well, that didn't work that well because they kept butting heads.
You're gonna have two parties butting heads. Yeah. No,
so eventually they brought in the whole vice president running mate thing and all that stuff. So. But that's unfortunate because that sounds great. Even if you lose, you're getting in.
Yeah.
And you can do something
who's third in line to become president?
The Speaker of the House. Yeah. I know about the whole the whole Trump trickery that could happen.
Oh. Yeah. That was back in the day when they took over. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. No interest in that.
That would have been hilarious.
He's not the head honcho. He's not going to screw with it.
Yeah. Anyway,
it would have been.
Well, what's it?
Because you don't have to be from the House.
For anybody who doesn't really understand, you don't have to be a member of the House to be a Speaker of the House. Yeah. So what could have been done is Trump could have actually somehow gotten to be Speaker of the House.
He'd have to get rid of Grant by the ruling party.
Yeah, which would never happen.
Well, the Republicans.
Well, yeah,
they're in control. If they wanted them, they could.
But don't forget about the rhinos.
Well, no, I know that. Now you're talking.
Let's get back into history here. 1910, the first airship in service, Germany. And that's the name, I believe. It's in quotations, but the first airship in service. So I guess militarily.
I don't know what kind of service generally means to the population, but
because airships were around way before that. On June 19th, DLAG's first Zeppelin, designated LZ-7 and named Deutschland, performed its first flight. So there we go.
So that's a balloon.
No, it's a dirigible.
A what?
A dirigible.
What's that?
It's like a blimp.
Okay.
There's a balloon.
You can't say a balloon, blimp.
Well, you can say you said balloon.
Yeah, I meant blimp.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, because there's a balloon. Well, no. There's different categories.
Yeah, it's true. There is a balloon. A balloon.
Yeah. One's round, one's oval. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that in a link in the underbar description below. Post show, of course. But that's interesting. So like, I wonder if it was like military or something, because this is right before. Well,
I would
this is
still
4
say
years
it'd be
before.
transportation more than military. It would be
Yeah.
my guess.
Yeah, like probably for like air commerce. Actually, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Air commerce. That's a good way to put it.
Because that's the Hindenburg was at.
Yeah. Very much.
Big old swastika on the fins. So. In 1910, Father's Day celebrated for the first time in Spokane, Washington.
Yeah, what a great day. I don't know who came up with that, but we ought to give him a promotion.
I know, right? So, we also have 1912, Tennessee University was established as the Tennessee Agricultural and Industrial State Normal School for N-words. That's a weird, okay. In Nashville, Tennessee. Wow. So it was a black-only school. Huh. It's, yeah, no, not the bad N word, but I can't say any of it because it's so ridiculous. 1913 Natives Land Act, Act Number 27, passed in South Africa, confined Africans to hopelessly overcrowded reserves and deprived them of rights to purchase land outside the native reserves. Yikes! Yikes! Well, now I know where apartheid came from. So. 1917, the British royal family, which had strong German ties since George I, renounced its German names and titles and adopted the name of Windsor. So, a little mental manipulation there. Like, especially, 1917, after World War I, or during World War I, it's like, hey, we're fighting the Germans, but the Germans are ruling us? What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, that could be detrimental to their propaganda. Also have in 1931, we have the first photoelectric cell installed commercially, West Haven, Connecticut. What is a photoelectric cell?
Photoelectric cell? You don't know, huh?
No, I don't. A solar cell.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So solar power all the way back in 1930s.
Isn't that something?
Wow. I mean, like lithium-ion, was batteries were around in the 40s.
I'm sure it's quite different than what we have today, but that's the.
Oh,
basics,
definitely. Like, no, but what I'm saying is like like lithium-ion. A lot of people don't realize it. The stuff that's in your magic rectangles, like in batteries in your car, if you have a Tesla or any electric vehicle, that's been around since the 40s. Like, because like those walkie-talkies and everything, how do they power them up? I don't see any wires plugged into an outlet.
Yeah.
There's a battery there.
Yeah.
The reason why it took until the late 90s, early 2000s before it became commercially available is because if mishandled, like, they can blow up.
Yeah,
They can catch fire. The government didn't believe that the populace as a whole was smart enough to be able to handle such, volatile things.
Yeah.
They still aren't, but thankfully they've made it a lot less, volatile.
Yeah.
But still, there's videos of stupid teenagers like taking a battery, throwing it on the ground, and causing an explosion for internet views, and have no idea they can blow their hand off that way. Anyway, speaking of people dying, 1 year later in 1932, hailstones killed 200 people in Hunan province, China. Whoa. Wow. And actually, just the other day, we had an article about a hailstone's 14 inches in diameter or something like that.
Whoa.
Yeah. Basketballs, literally. I didn't even
kill you.
Yeah. 1934, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, was created. Boo! Boo. 1936, German boxer Max Schmeling knocks out up-and-coming U.S. heavyweight Joe Louis in 12 rounds at Yankee Stadium, New York.
Knocked out Joe Louis? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And we also have in 1936, while that was happening, Joe McCartney was named to manage the American League All-Stars rather than high-strung Mickey Cochrane, who is very close to a nervous breakdown. Okay. So that's good?
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Here's we were talking about this. 1940, Hermann Göring ordered seizures of Dutch horses, cars, buses, and ships.
Oh, jeez.
Well, yeah, for the war effort, like as I said, the Blitzkrieg, it's effective, but 90 to 95% of the entire, at least ground forces of the German armed forces was still horses and buggies.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. They need a pretty rapid transformation, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Moving on up to 1941, Soviet anthropologist Mikhail Gerasimov opened Tomb of Timurid Empire founder Timur and allegedly found the inscription that whoever opens this tomb shall unleash an invader more terrible than I, 3 days later, Germany invaded Russia. Ooh, that's a little weird, you know? Like, ancient curses and such.
Yeah.
Because Operation Barbarossa is one of the stupidest military things in all of history. Especially from someone who, like, had fought a two-front war in his youth.
Yeah.
You think the last thing he'd want to do is start one?
Yeah.
So...
This'll work.
Yeah, it worked out so well for Germany last time. So... 1941, U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt signed the Two-Ocean Navy Expansion Act, basically allowing us to have a navy in both the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean.
Roosevelt.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is 1941. What happens in a couple months?
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah.
So, 1944, 5 of the Magnificent 11 photos taken by Robert Capa during the D-Day landings at Omaha Beach, Normandy, first published in Life magazine.
Ooh, jeez.
The Magnificent 11 photos. Let me,
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's pretty, 1944, that's a few years later. That's pretty raw still. Well, the war's still going on.
Well, no, it was June 6th. That was 13 days ago.
I'm just going 1944.
Yeah, this is 44.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
The landing in Normandy was in...
44.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm thinking when they bombed Pearl Harbor. Sorry. Ooh, let's see the pictures.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring them in. So, yeah, here we go.
God. I look at pictures like this.
They're kids.
And yes. And I try to superimpose... What are you going through? I guess you're so busy trying to get to shore and get there, you don't go through anything. But man, I just can't imagine.
Well, by then, you've been trained, you've been beaten into a mindset. You're a cog in a massive machine, and you're just going to be doing your parts. And a lot of these people just got gunned down. Like, anybody who really wants reality in the face, go watch the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. And I say that with complete and total authority. Because when they first screened that movie to actual people who were there, veterans who did invade Normandy on that day, and they saw the movie Saving Private Ryan, a lot of them had to excuse themselves from the theater because it was literally the exact same thing. It wasn't a Hollywood depiction. It wasn't like a bad one, an overexpanded one. No, it was as if they were there on the day, and they couldn't handle it.
Apparently, a lot of the cast, at least the major cast in it,
they went through boot camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A whole type of boot camp to evade,
Yeah.
What the soldiers would have done to prepare for that.
And they became legit brothers and such.
Yeah.
That's why, because in the dynamic, remember they brought in Upham, and then they all kind of treated him like crap. The scrawny little guy who can speak German and everything.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't part of their training.
Right.
They kept him out intentionally, so that way, just naturally, he wasn't part of the group.
Yeah.
So it was portrayed in the movie. That wasn't just acting. That was actually legit.
Yeah.
Feelings. So, but yeah. What else do we have here? 1946, the first TV sports / boxing spectacular. Joe Louis knocks out Billy Conn. All right. 1947, the first plane, an F-80, to exceed 600 miles an hour, or 1,004 kilometers an hour. Albert Boyd, Muroc, California. An F-80. So let's see here, 1947 F-80. Let's take a look at that plane. 1947 F-80. Okay. That's a jet. Okay,
Yeah.
600 miles an hour.
I remember those, the Air Force having those types of planes. That style.
Yeah, with the little pontoons on the wings. Weird. 1955, Mickey Mantle hit his career home run number 100. So his 100th home run. All right.
The Mick.
Yep. While that was going on, the Philadelphia Phillies defeated the Chicago Cubs 1-0 in 15 innings, tied the longest shutout in club history.
Good grief.
15 innings in only 1-0. So, yeah. 1956, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin in partnership after 10 years and 16 films.
Yeah.
All right. Where is it? Here it is. These guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were a huge duo. Comedy, and Martin was a straight man, obviously. They made lots of movies, and they're just big stars.
1960, the first Copa Libertadores final, Asuncion, Luis Cabilla scored 83 feet equestrial for Peñarol of Uruguay for a 1-1 draw against Olympia, Paraguay. Win 2-1 on aggregate after taking first leg 1-0 in Montevideo. I just saw first something. This sounds like cricket. So
that's why when I understood nothing what you're saying, it has got to be cricket. They never said it, but it cricket.
Sounds like cricket.
Yeah.
There are a lot of weird terms in there.
Yeah.
1960 as well. Loretta Lynn record "I'm a Honky Tonk Girl," or however it's gone.
Yeah, Loretta Lynn.
Yeah. 1 year later, Kuwait declared independence from UK. All right. While that was going on, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a provision in Maryland's Constitution requiring state office holders to believe in God. Wow. Yeah. Keep church and state out of each other's,
Yeah.
1963, Valentina Tereshnikova was the first woman in space returned to Earth, on record at least. I said the other day when she was launched, I believe that the first person in Earth, the first human in space ever was actually a female. There's a recording. It sounds like a female. She's talking in Russian, but she's not talking. She's like yelling, talking about, "Oh, I'm burning up," and they believe it's a failed, Soviet person in space burning up on reentry. And of course, they're not going to talk about that. So,
right.
And then they send up Yuri Gagarin, and then later on Valentina Tereshnikova. But I don't believe that she's the first woman in space. She is on paper, but yeah. What else do we have here? 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 passed 73-27. All right. Whatever the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is. That takes me to Humphrey. So I don't want Humphrey. I want the Civil Rights Act.
He's probably the one that wrote it, or whatever you call it.
Well, yeah, but I want to know what it is.
Yeah.
It prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Provisions of the Civil Rights Act forbade discrimination. Okay, so I just, sex as well as race in hiring, promoting, and firing.
In other words, as the Constitution says, all men are created equal, meaning people.
Yeah. Because, it's humanity.
Yeah.
Man is not, it didn't used to just mean the gender that I am part of.
Right.
Mankind, humanity.
Yeah.
You're a man, you're a human. You know?
Yeah.
And then the female thing came out 100 years later, or 100 years or so ago. Like, the whole female thing is a relatively new terminology as far as the existence
a lot of it was
humanity.
needed.
Yeah. But it used to be back in the day, they both called females and males men. 1,000 years ago. So, the link to that wiki for the Civil Rights Act of 1964, of course, will be in the Underbrother description below, post-stream. What else do we have here? 1964, Luther Burbank, I know that name. Home and Gardens, home of the famous horticulturalist, is designated a National Historical Landmark in Santa Rosa, California. We know about Burbank, California.
Yeah.
Where all the television studios and such used to be.
I think they still are, aren't they?
I don't know. Everything can be online now. You don't have to be in a centralized location anymore. I guess for live stuff and actually working together,
well, it's like the news and everything have to come out of the studios. They can't do that remotely. Well,
yeah,
they
you
can.
Yeah.
But I mean, to get what they want, they're still broadcasting from a studio. Then they go out remotely to do different reports.
Yeah.
But they still, for whatever reason, do it in a studio.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just kind of how you do things, and until something comes along that everybody follows and the whole thing changes, it's just always going to be the same. 1967, Paul McCartney admitted on TV that he took LSD.
Ooh.
3 years later, 1970, Russian cosmonauts Andriy Nikolaev and Vitaly Sevastyanov returned after 18 days on Soyuz 9, the longest crewed flight by a solo spacecraft. All right. 1970 as well, the International Patent Cooperation Treaty was signed. All right. And that sounds pretty self-explanatory. 1973, the Rocky Horror Show stage production first opened in London, written by Richard O'Brien and directed by Jim Sherman, and starring Tim Curry. Tim Curry. All right. 1973, Pete Rose of the Cincinnati Reds and Willie Davis of the LA Dodgers both recorded 2000th MLB career hits. Rose a single and 4-0 win versus San Francisco Giants, while Davis a home run and 3-0 win versus the Atlanta Braves. All right.
Yeah, the two Davises out in the outfield for the Dodgers, Tommy Davis and Willie Davis.
Huh. All right.
Center field and right field.
Need to talk a little bit louder.
Okay.
Yeah. A good thing to see. You see how this green square is around my
I do.
picture?
Yep.
Yep. So that way.
That's your sound?
Yeah, that's because it's definitely picking you up. But if this isn't picking you up, then you need to talk louder so that way the other people, if there are people here, can hear you. Like that's just a default. Like that's the weakest link right there. So
got you.
We also have 1977. Pope Paul VI made 19th century Bishop John Newman the first U.S. male saint. Cool. It took all the way up until 77 before the U.S. had a male saint, at least. And I think the U.S. female saint was before that. Hold on a second. First U.S. female saint. 1975. So, yeah. We had the U.S. female saint was before the U.S. male saint. So much for a glass ceiling and men always getting everything first. Feminists. So...
It doesn't make a bit of difference.
I know it doesn't matter, but I just like to rub lemon juice in their eye when I finally get a one up. You know?
Oh, jeez.
So, anyway, 1979 in New York City, 36,211 people showed up to witness the return of Billy Martin as manager of the New York Yankees. Okay.
God.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yep.
While that was going on, Mali's constitution went into effect. I think between these two, that should have been highlighted because that's a political thing. You know, that actually matters.
What's Mali's constitution? What is it?
It's the Constitution of Mali. I don't know. Like,
why would that be highlighted or even mentioned?
I don't know. Like, because it's significant. You never know. I don't know.
I guess so.
I mean, like whenever it's, like, you know, something's constitution is drafted or went into effect or something happens with it.
True.
I like to talk about it because, like, you know, like. The whole world went to collective shit when the Archduke of a small, you know, whatever, you know, who cares nation gets shot. You know?
Yeah. Okay. A war breaks out.
Everything is connected. Everything is important, no matter how big or small. It's just, you know, significance is just a matter of perception. 1981, Boeing commercial Chinook 2 rotor helicopter was certified. The banana copter.
Ah.
Yeah. You know the Chinooks.
Yeah.
We used to see them all the time, you know, driving
Isn't it Chinook?
Chinook, yeah. Let's see here. While that was going on, the heaviest known orange at 2.5 kilograms was exhibited in Nelspruit, South Africa. Must be a big orange.
Yeah.
While that was going on in 1981 as well, India's Apple satellite, the first to be stabilized on 3 axes, launched. Okay. So, you know, you have, like, you know, the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So, you know, being stabilized in 3 dimensions.
Okay.
Otherwise, you know, just a 2-dimension stabilization, like, you know, like it has 3 different pointers for thrusters. Now we have thrusters pointing all over the place, you know, to stabilize and pitch and yaw and all that stuff.
You understand that way more than me, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mom was fascinated with space, so I kind of followed suit.
Yeah.
1984, Weird Al Yankovic gave a free live performance at Del Mar Fair. Cool.
Weird Al.
Yeah, Weird Al. 1987, Gay Kellaway rode a 12-to-1 shot Sproutston boy to win the 2-mile 6-furlong Queen Alexandria Stakes, becoming the first female jockey to ride a winner at England's Royal Ascot Racecourse. Cool.
You know, wonder there aren't more female jockeys just because of their size. But is it durability? Because it's really...
It's durability and physical.
Really physical,
yeah.
So maybe that's it.
Yeah. Well, because, like, you know, you know, there's quite a bit of female women out there, you know, like you do physical jobs and, you know, stuff, but it is a rather low percentage in comparison. So, like, you know, the height requirements for a jockey. Now you have all these, you know, for lack of a better term, handicaps, I guess. Like all these, you know, things that you have to be, you know, certain heights, a certain mindset. You know, there's only going to be like a handful of female jockeys just out of, like, you know, statistics and numbers.
There's no requirement, but you just have to be small and light.
Well, that's kind of a requirement.
And physical at the same time.
Yeah, just out of, you know, numbers, there's not going to be a lot of them. But let's see here, 1987 as well, Supreme Court ruled school teaching evolution need not teach creation. All right, so switching from teaching creationism to teaching evolution.
Yeah.
That was a battle. So.
Oh, it was. Absolutely was.
Now, this is something interesting. 1987 as well. I didn't even see this. Glastonbury Festival in Pilton, England opened. Elvis Costello and Van Morrison headline. Other performers included New Order, the Robert Cray Band, Los Lobos, Ben E. King, Taj Mahal, Richard Thompson, Courtney Pine, Husker Du, the Wooden Tops, the Mighty Lemon Drops, Michelle Shocked, and World Party. That sounds like a world party.
Yeah.
So, what else do we have here? 1987? 1988. Yeah, this is weird. Where'd it go? 1988?
Yeah, there you go.
32 divers finished cycling underwater on standard tricycle to complete 116.66 miles in 75 hours and 20 minutes. So they were underwater, riding tricycles underwater.
Yeah.
That's weird. And I'm just like, okay, this is strange. They 116.66 miles. Well, there's a number of the beach right there. Why did they just stop at 116? I'm like, okay, well, maybe time. 75 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So what was the cutoff? Because this is a weird, specific distance. This is a weird specific time. So
and maybe that's just as far as they go, and they were done. Couldn't go any further.
Maybe
physically spent.
Maybe. Anyway, while that was going on, 1988 as well, another weird thing, the world's then largest sausage was completed at 13 1/8 miles long.
What?
Wow.
What? Come on.
Gotta find a big pizza for that. The world's largest sausage. Wow.
How'd they cook that baby?
I don't think they did. I think they just made it. Like, it's a raw sausage. But that's...
Wow.
But how would you cook that? That's such a waste of food if you don't do anything with it.
Yeah, no.
Hold on a second. Let me just look up this entire article and see if I can find a picture. World's then largest sausage. Oh, okay. So it wasn't like a big... it was just a long, narrow thing that was 13 miles long.
Okay, it's still long.
Oh, they just look at that.
That's what they did cook it.
Maybe on a conveyor, but look at that. They just... They have it
cooked.
looped around. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
So they must have been making it instead of twisting it off.
Right. They just kept
going. So a standard how you would make sausage.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What else do we have here? 1990. Grupo Carso SADCV, founded by Carlos Slim, was listed on the Mexico Stock Exchange. And I think this is a guy because there's one Mexican entrepreneur. For a short amount of time, was actually the richest man in the whole world.
Really?
Like beyond Bill Gates, beyond Jeff Bezos, beyond all these people, the richest individual man, wealth-wise, value-wise in the world.
Yeah.
A Mexican entrepreneur, which goes to show, it doesn't matter where you're from, who you are. Greatness is in everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you don't know what date it was because that could be before the Bezos and everybody else like that.
Hold on a second. Mexican entrepreneur. I know I didn't spell that right. Entrepreneur, richest man in world. Carlos Slim Hoodoo is Mexico's wealthiest person with a net worth of $93 billion. A Mexican worth $93 billion.
That's the richest Mexican.
Yeah.
But that's currently.
Well, yeah. Here we go. Carlos Slim. He was... Oh, yeah, right here. Where is it? Mexican business magnate, investor, and philanthropist. From 2010 to 2013, he was ranked as the richest person in the world by Forbes Business Magazine.
Oh, okay. Good for him.
Yeah. So, born in Mexico City,
I knew a Carlos. I wonder if he's any relation.
I don't think relations are in the first name.
Rats.
Asians do that. Us is last name. Their last name is their first name. Kim Il Sung, Kim Jong Il, Kim Jong Un.
Yeah.
So, what else do we have here? 1 year later, 1991, Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar surrendered to the police.
Yeah.
And look at him, really from year to year. Yeah, because he knew he was gonna escape. He's just like,
Yeah.
1991 as well, the New York Yankees Steve Howe recorded his first major league save since 1987. All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's with the Yankees then?
Yeah.
He used to be with the Dodgers, so that's... he had a drug problem, so he probably... Yeah, I don't know when exactly he was either left the Dodgers or traded, but that's a long... So he came back at some point.
So you're saying at one point he dodged the drugs?
Oh, boo.
1992, Batman... why am I breaking again? Batman Returns, starring Michael Keaton as Batman, Danny DeVito as the Penguin, and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, was released. All right.
Yeah.
Why does Danny DeVito look like a wild man now? What else do we have here? 1999, at about 4:30 p.m., Stephen King was hit by a car on the shoulder of Route 5 in Lovell, Maine. He would suffer numerous injuries, including a collapsed right lung, multiple fractures of his right leg, scalp laceration, and a broken hip. Yikes. But that reminds me of a Family Guy clip. Let's see if I can find it. Bring it up real quick. Family Guy, Stephen King, hit by car. If I can find a real quick... is this it? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Stephen King.
Hey, this would make a neat story. Done.
He gets hit by a car, writes an entire story. Anyway, what else do we have here? 1999, Stanley Cup, Marine Midland Arena, Buffalo, New York. Dallas Stars edge Buffalo Sabres 2-1 in a triple overtime for 4-2 series win. Brett Hull clinches series with infamous no-goal ruling. I don't know what that is, but, you know, maybe you would. I guess not. Alice probably would if she was here.
I don't know what the no-goal ruling is.
Infamous no-goal ruling. Let's look that up here. No goal is a call made by referees in various goal-scoring games, football, hockey, lacrosse, etc., to indicate that a goal has not been scored.
Okay.
So
the light went off or something, but it did not, for whatever reason, go past the line or something.
Something happened.
So, it's a no-go ruling.
Yeah.
The officials had to say, no, it didn't go through.
Yeah, 2-1. So if it did, it would have been tied.
No-goal ruling. If we really just stopped and thought about it, that's exactly what it'd be.
Yep. 2000, the NBA Finals, Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Indiana Pacers 116-111 in Game 6 to win the franchise's first title in 12 years.
Hoorah!
Most valuable player, Shaquille O'Neal, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the golden age of the Lakers. So,
there was a lot of golden ages. They haven't been lately.
Yeah, well, like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was a Laker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He eventually came to him, but yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal, of course,
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant was always a Laker. But you go back farther than that, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. You go back to Minnesota, where they had a major, I can't think of his name right offhand, but a major center up there. It's in the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. So they've had a lot of history in basketball. Not lately. Oh, they've won some
Anthony Davis, Mohamed Bamba.
No, you got to go way back to Minnesota.
Minnesota Lakers center. Early days. Okay, well, who were Lakers in 1980? Magic John. Okay.
No, that's recent.
Okay.
That's before they were the LA Lakers.
Well, I provide that as a challenge to our viewers. If you can figure out the answer to the Loon's question here, please tell us in the comment section. Moving on up to 2006. Prime ministers of several northern European nations participated in a ceremonial laying of the first stone at the Svalbard Global Seed Vault in Spitsbergen, Norway. And you know about the Seed Vault, right?
No.
Let's see here. Actually, here's Svalbard Global Seed Vaults. It's really interesting what they're doing with that, actually. Let's see, Seed Vaults Wiki. Oh, here we go. There's a wiki right there. Is a secure backup facility for the world's crop diversity on the Norwegian island of Spitsbergen in the remote Arctic Svalbard archipelago. So because of its geographical location, it's cold.
Yeah.
Every species of plants known to man, they have seeds there in case anything becomes extinct.
Oh, wow.
In case any global catastrophe happens or whatever, then they can bring back corn, they can bring back tomatoes, they can bring back the bush tomato.
That one they leave down under.
Yeah. But no, like it's really awesome. You should actually look at a video about it, but it's massive. I think Tom Scott did a video on it once. But, like, it's just, containers, these boxes, and they contain seeds and all that stuff. In case anything, if anything mutates, if anything goes bad, you know? Because, like, you've seen the movie, what was it called, with Matthew McConaughey, when he went in the black hole and all that stuff. Have you seen that?
Not that I recall.
The whole premise of the movie at the opening was that all these planets had become extinct.
Oh.
Like corn had become extinct, wheat had become extinct, and we were down to like literally only growing 1 or 2 crops globally for food.
Jeez.
Everything was gone.
Yeah.
But this would prevent something like that from happening, hopefully. What else do we have here? 2012. A man was beheaded for witchcraft and sorcery in Saudi Arabia. What did I tell you earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just 11 years ago, we're still doing this crap. Saudi Arabia, what do you expect? They as a nation, they gave human rights to a robot before they've done it to females, even though they can fly planes. They're so weird. So, 2017, Brexit negotiations between the United Kingdom and the European Union in Brussels. Here we go, Brexit. 2017 as well, the first full genetic study of cats was published in Nature, Ecology, and Evolution. Reveals domesticated 9,000 years ago, descended from one species, the African wildcat. Wow, so they trace it back all the way to one species. Holy.
That's kind of amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But, where were we? 2017, okay. And why is that not highlighted,
Yeah.
Like, 2017 as well, a record 65.6 million people displaced around the world in 2016, reported by UN Refugee Agency. We spoke about something like that yesterday, and we're going to have at least one more article like that later on. While that was happening, Russia warned the U.S. it will target U.S. and allied aircraft over Syria after U.S. fighters shot down Syrian warplane. Well, we saw how well that went off. 2018, Canada's Senate voted to legalize recreational marijuana use, the first major economy to do so. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't like the correlation between marijuana, and leftist ideologies and all that stuff. I mean, it is there. I mean, I partake in the devil's lettuce, but I am not any form of those people. But still, like, I don't know, like, it's pushing me more and more on the fence about, like, marijuana, its legitimacy. It's a plant, but still. What else do we have here? 2018, General Electric was dropped from the Dow Jones Index, the last original member from 1907. Wow. So it became privatized again?
No. I think it just dropped from the Dow Jones Index. It went on to another one, no doubt.
Ah, okay. That's interesting. They're the last original member. Now they're all newbies, essentially. They have no OGs.
Yeah, nobody original.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
While that was going on, U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley announced the U.S. is leaving the UN Human Rights Council. Well, that explains why we're acting the way we are today, politically.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know this specific, but I know that Human Rights Council was run by some really crazy countries that have no human rights. And like Saddam Hussein may have headed that at one time, or whoever he had over there to head it up.
Yikes.
So I'm not saying it was them, but there was something like that. And I go, yeah. There's no human rights, and you have them on the Human Rights Council leading it. No.
Yeah, that's weird. Let's see here. 2019 as well. Oklahoma writer Joy Harjo was named the first Native American U.S. Poet Laureate by the Library of Congress. Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
While that was going on, the United Nations said over 70 million people in the world are displaced, asylum seekers or refugees around the world, their highest ever number in 70 years. So that takes us back to the Second World War.
Yeah. Yeah.
While that was happening, U.S. senators received a classified briefing on possible UFO sightings by the U.S. Navy. I think that's that famous video now of them tracking the craft over the water.
Ah, okay.
So, and there was even one instance, apparently one of the ships got buzzed. Like,
really?
Like not shot at, but like, buzzing the tower and everything.
Yeah.
They flew like right over it. Like, and I think some people got blown over because it was traveling fast. It blew people over. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of crazy stories going on out there. And with Project Bluebeam and Blue Book, whichever one is the is the fake alien invasion thing and how everything is going today. The whole declassified nothing burger, the 13-page document from a couple years ago. Like, so much weird stuff is happening. You know, now, like, it is funny. Like, for years and years and years, decades and decades, like over half a century even, everybody's been saying, like, you know, oh, blah, blah, UFOs are real, yada, yada. And then, you know, the government and the media is saying, oh, it's all fake. Yeah. Now the government and media is saying, oh, it might be real. Everybody's saying, oh, now you're lying. It's like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
2020, the Australian government and companies suffered a months-long state-based cyber attack, according to Prime Minister Scott Morrison. All right. And then, last but not least, 2022, Colombia elected its first leftist president, former member of the M19 guerrilla movement, Gustavo Petro. This sounds like it's a recipe for disaster. Like, they elect 2022. You elect a leftist who used to be part of a guerrilla movement.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to go?
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. You know, just look at the states. Look at how well it's going for us. You think you're going to do any better? Yikes. Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar in the description below for any links you may find interesting, including but unlimited to all things Omni Coalition. For your dose of Past Events Daily, we stream every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 12 Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I am Ao Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you, of course, are you. And until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! Where's the thing? There's a thing.